IVC, Dale here, Gateful 33. I'm doing a response video to a video that was made yesterday by James Griffiths showing soul funk disco albums 1970 to 1980. James did a similar thread on hard rock a week or so ago, but before I could jump on it, everyone had already shown all of the kind of few hard rock albums that I do have. So excuse me, I'm getting a bit croaky here. It's early morning, so early morning coffee. So this is a similar area where I'm going to struggle to certainly cover every year, particularly the later years, and one is just outright doesn't qualify, but I thought I'd show it anyway, so it's a very tenuous link. So let's get going. So good thread, James, and hopefully I'll do it justice. So first up, 1970 is Curtis Mayfield's Curtis album. I've got several Curtis Mayfield albums, but this one was the only one I could fit in, and has got the fantastic track Move On Up on it, which features heavily on my car playlists. Number 2, 1971, is this album, Funkadelic's Maggot Brain. This is a copy I got hold of last year from a boot sale. I had to pay up at a boot sale for it, but this is not a first press, but it's a early-ish 70s US press, so happy to pick that up last year. I already had a kind of reissue copy that I'm going to get rid of at some point, but fantastic psychedelic soul, almost rock, well, probably rock soul album, Maggot Brain. I'm sure everyone knows this. Next, one of my all-time favourite albums, let alone favourite soul albums, is Terry Callier, or Collier, I don't think it's how I say Callier, and What Colour Is Love. This is a wonderful late night soul album that is just, it just oozes in one song into the other. It's beautiful. So yeah, died a few years ago, sadly. I think massively underrated artist, Terry Callier. Next, I needed to squeeze some blue-eyed soul in, and one of my favourite artists in. So next in 70, what are we on? 73 is Dusty Springfield, and I think her early 70s albums are quite underrated. So everyone kind of knows Dusty in Memphis from '69, but some of the records she made probably up to here, so are really good. Again, quite dark in their kind of tempo and kind of nature, but beautiful all the same. So yeah, this is called Cameo, and this is Dusty Springfield from 1973. 74 is Peebles and I Can't Stand the Rain. This is an original UK. I had a US, but found this last year. So this has obviously got the title track on it, but again is another really great kind of soulful, thoughtful soul album. Where are we now? 70, oh, have I lost count? 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, yeah, 75. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. This is probably as far as I go with them, but I've got some of their earlier stuff, but I thought I'd fit it in here. Good Philly soul album, good Philly soul band. Teddy Pendergrass was their kind of vocalist, who went on to kind of more pop soul fame on the Philadelphia Philly soul label, but yeah, good album. This not their best, but a good album. This one is a rather weird one, so I'm going to have to, this is X-rated, so I'm going to have to cover it up, I think, probably. So this is pioneers, which you would normally associate with reggae, and most of their output was reggae, but this is a soul funk disco types album that they did. The back's not much better, I'm afraid, but yeah, the pioneers, Feel the Rhythm, and I won't show it anymore. 1976, 1977. So this is where I got an epic fail, I'm afraid. So I haven't got anything from 77 that fits the soul funk disco genre. So I went through my 77 albums, and this is the closest. This is a funky-ish album. So Steely Dan's Aja or Aja. So yeah, less said about the better. The better. So that's the closest I could get. 78. I had to go Afro, sort of Afro beat, Afro funk. This is Ogassa, a good Afro rock, Afro funk, Afro soul album. This is obviously a reissue. I think originals are very rare, that I picked up a few years ago. It says Volume 1, but I think it's the only album they ever made. Yeah, this is a good album. If you see it around, I'd recommend picking it up. This next one, 79, is maybe obscure. I don't know if it's obscure. It's called, the band is called, or the artist or band is called The Edge of Daybreak, and the album's called Eyes of Love. And I first kind of found out about this kind of often I cooked dinner on a Saturday night listening to Craig Charles' Funk and Soul show on BBC Six Music, and he often features some artists that I kind of go and seek out, and he was playing the track Eyes of Love off of this album, and explained a bit about this artist. So apparently these were prison inmates who would kind of formed a band, or were doing music as part of their kind of recreation within prison, and were allowed a very limited few hours to get together and record in I think like in a prison hall or something. So it's got quite a sort of lo-fi almost feel to a soul album, because they couldn't really funk it up, because they didn't have the studio kind of facilities, I think. So I think that was the history. So they kind of nailed this album in a few hours. It was a sort of lost classic, and then got reissued a few years ago. It's on a die cut sleeves, I think. But yeah, it's good, and obviously an interesting story. And then my final one, back to Blue Eyed Soul, because again I struggled with 1980. So I'm going to go for one of my all-time favourite albums, let alone soul albums. And that is Searching for the Young Soul Rebel by Dexys Midnight Runners. Fantastic album with some soul covers on it, as well as some original material. This is again a fantastic. All Dexys output is fantastic. So that's me. Thanks. Bye.